Welcome to Sci-Fi Frontier. I'm Dominic. And in this episode, I'm going to be talking about The Expanse, Season 4, Episode 1, New Terra. Now, before I get in to talk about the episode, I'm just going to quickly talk about my background with The Expanse and why I think it's a show more YouTubers should talk about and why I'm going to make a point to talk about it more on my channel. So my background with this sci-fi franchise is I read the first book back in 2012. I bought the softcover of it and thinking it was just like a standalone story, and it really impressed me. It was a really good story. I really got into that first book. That first book really hooked me, and then realized that it was an ongoing book series. So as of now, I'm 6 books into the novels, and from what I've read and heard, the book series is going to end at book 9. Now, book 7 and 8 are already out. 7, I believe, is out in softcover, and I think 8 just came out in softcover, so one more book to go, and then apparently that's going to be the end of the series. So then they decided to do a live action series, and I started watching. When I started, season 1 and 2 came out, I didn't have my YouTube channel at the time, and it came on Sci-Fi. They only did 2 seasons. I used to watch them. I didn't watch them on Space because it was on Space here in Canada, but it would show up on Crave. So I watched it actually the first 2 seasons on Crave, and then it just disappeared, and I had no idea what happened to it. And apparently Space had canceled the series. Why? I have no idea why. I thought it was a dumb decision. But from what I understand, I'm not sure about this, but I had heard that it was saved by a fan, by the fans. The fans campaigned for this show, and then Amazon Prime picked it up. And then they've been doing the seasons ever since. So since that, there's been season 3 and 4. And so now I'm on the season 4. This is a show that not really any YouTubers are talking about. Seems like when it comes to science fiction, the things that really dominate are Star Wars and Star Trek. But no one's really talking about this. And I think this is a really good science fiction show, and it's something that more channels should talk about. So that's why I'm going to make an effort to talk more about The Expanse on my channel. So I'm going to start off and discuss the first episode of Season 4. So this episode, New Terra. So in this episode, where Season 3 kind of left off, they had discovered that the proto-molecule had created basically a Stargate that opened up. And, well, they didn't know that at first. They went through the gate and they ended up in this weird zone called the slow zone. It's like a weird bubble of what didn't look like space. It was almost like they were inside of a bubble of almost looked like hyperspace or subspace or something. And at the center, it was an alien space station. At the end of season 3, they figured out how that station kind of worked, because the station was gonna like destroy them all, but they figured out a way to stop it, and they actually opened up 1,300 other gates that led to other Earth-like planets. So now humanity had opened up to 1,300 new worlds that they could claim as their own. So that was how basically that's how season 3 ended. Now season 4 in this episode. So I'm gonna kind of give a quick kind of rundown the episode, but I'll do like a spoiler-free review first. So this episode picks up where that left off, and now they're trying to figure out what to do with the gate and how to manage this gate. It was a really good starter to the season, and it was a pretty strong episode. It's kind of setting the tone for the rest of the season. Now, The Expanse is somewhat of a darker science fiction show than others, and so this one has a good bit of action, space action, and then it ends off with a cliffhanger. There's like this mysterious event that happens that makes you want to see what happens in the next episode. So a really good episode, solid episode. So that's my spoiler-free review of it. So now I'm going to get into spoilers. So now the episode starts off with Earth ships guarding the ringed gate, and there's these refugee ships filled with belters that are making a run for it, trying to get through, but they're ordered to stand down. They don't. A bunch of them get shot down by Earth ships, but 4 make it through these gates and end up on other worlds. So then Earth is trying to figure out what to do, because now they've heard contact from these belters, so they know some of the belters have survived and have set up a colony on one of the planets. So they're going to send a science vessel there to study the planet, but they're going to send the Rosinante there to make sure the planet is safe, because they found images of ancient alien-looking structures that they believe could be the proto-molecule, since the proto-molecule made all the gates that are leading to all these planets. So the Rosinante crew, they go there, and they end up with this science vessel. The science vessel sends a shuttle down full with scientists and like a security crew, and something happens, something hits their ship, and they crash. So then they don't know if it was an accident or they were shot down. The Belters come and help them, but they don't know if the Belters were responsible for this or not. So the Belters say they have claimed the planet. The planet is theirs, and these Inners have no right to it. So the scientists, they want to study the planet, and then James Holden and the Rosinante crew, they land the Rosinante on the planet, and they're going to make sure that the planet is actually safe, and if it's not safe and it's infested with proto-molecule, evacuate everyone off of that planet. So that's basically the episode. Now, some of the things I liked about this episode is you get to see that the space battles in this show is pretty good. I really like the space battles. There's like a lot of real world physics in this show, and so you get a pretty good space battle in this one. And the other thing I really enjoy about the books is the politics of this series is really good. Like, now when I mean politics, I'm talking the fictional politics of the world. It's very interesting, the whole dynamic between the inner planets and the Belters. Like, there's this constant mistrust, and they don't trust each other, and there's always this constant tension, and they're always butting heads. And so now this is like a new thing that they're going to be butting heads about, are these ring gates and access to these planets. So they got to decide what to do. Now, Earth doesn't just want all these ships flying through the ring gates to all these planets, because they don't know what's on the other side of that gate. So that's why they've got ships guarding it. And basically anyone that tries to go through without authorization gets shot down. Their ship gets shot down. Again, and one thing I'm going to say, because I've never really talked about the show before, but the chemistry between the four main actors are really good. And James Holden, he's a good character, a good captain. And but my two favorite characters is actually Naomi Nagata, and I like Amos because he's like a complete loose cannon, and he's kind of like the guy who like just does not give two shits in the show. So he's like the loose cannon. He's like kind of like the bulldozer of the show that just has this bulldozer way of getting through things. And I like Naomi. She's like a really good character, interesting character. And she's the only Belter of the crew, so that makes it interesting. So she's always kind of torn between the, being loyal to the Rosinante, who sometimes does missions for Earth, and being loyal to the Belters. But those are my two favorite. But all the cast are really well done. They got a really good chemistry, like the cast of four main leads, and makes for a good show. Now, this episode ends with almost like, I don't know what it is, a swarm of razor bugs or something that attacked them and cutting them and then disappeared off into the horizon again. So that's how the episode ended. So they're like freaking out, like, what is this? Now, it could be maybe like a product of a proto-molecule or something like that. We don't know. But it'll be interesting to see what happens in further seasons. And then already you can see that the security team that's on the planet, the leader, that he's going to be trouble. You can tell that right away in this episode. When you look at that guy, you know, okay, this guy's going to be trouble. Can't wait to see where the storyline goes. Now, I kind of know where the storyline goes because I've read the books. But what's interesting about the show is they kind of switch stuff up. They kind of switch the characters around, even combine some characters. So I know where this storyline generally is going. But I'm kind of interesting to see what kind of curveballs they're going to throw into the storyline as far as the series goes. So that's everything I got to say in this video. Let me know what you think in the comments section, and I will see you at the next one. Thank you to all of my subscribers, and thank you for watching this video. And if you're new to the channel, like, subscribe, and share. And don't forget to hit the bell icon for notification when new videos are uploaded.